First Contact and Crisis. The Galactic Council chambers buzzed with nervous energy as representatives from a dozen alien species debated furiously. At the center of the commotion stood Ambassador Zixnera, her iridescent scales shimmering with agitation. "We cannot ignore this threat any longer," she proclaimed, her tail lashing behind her. "The Void Swarm grows stronger by the day. They've already consumed 3 outer systems." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the assembly. The Void Swarm, a relentless hive mind of energy-devouring beings, had emerged from the depths of unexplored space mere months ago. Initial diplomatic overtures had failed spectacularly. The swarm seemed interested only in consuming everything in its path. "What of the rumors?" a gruff voice called out. "The whispers of a new species with formidable military prowess." Zixnera's antenna twitched. "Ah yes, the humans. We've only just made contact. They're an enigma, technologically advanced, yet isolated on a single world they call Earth. Their potential is intriguing." "Intriguing," scoffed Krazak, the hulking Erdnot ambassador. "We need results, not curiosities. My people stand ready to crush this swarm." Before Zixnera could retort, alarms blared throughout the chamber. A holographic display flickered to life, showing a massive Void Swarm fleet emerging from hyperspace, on a direct course for the Galactic Council's homeworld. Panic erupted. In the chaos, Zixnera made a decision that would alter the course of galactic history. She activated her personal comm device, connecting to the recently established channel with humanity's leaders. "This is Ambassador Zixnera of the Galactic Council," she spoke urgently. "We face an unprecedented crisis and require immediate assistance. Will humanity stand with us?" The response came swiftly, in a voice filled with determination. "This is Admiral Chen of the United Earth Fleet. We stand ready to help. What's the situation?" As Zixnera relayed the dire circumstances, she couldn't help but feel a glimmer of hope. Perhaps these humans would be the key to their survival. Thousands of light years away, on the bridge of the UES Defiant, Admiral Alina Chen's face was set in grim determination. Humanity had only recently taken its first steps onto the galactic stage, and now they faced a trial by fire. "All hands, battle stations," Chen's voice rang out. "Prep for immediate hyperspace jump. We're about to show the galaxy what humanity is made of." The next hours were a blur of activity. The United Earth Fleet, a hodgepodge of recently constructed warships and retrofitted civilian vessels, made the perilous jump to the Galactic Council's homeworld. They arrived to find chaos. The Void Swarm's attack was already underway. Massive, writhing tendrils of dark energy lashed out at the planet's defenses, which were crumbling under the assault. The various alien fleets, caught off guard, struggled to mount an effective counterattack. "My God," Chen breathed, taking in the scale of the battle. She steeled herself. "All right, people, let's show them what we can do. Carriers, launch fighters, cruisers, form up on me. We're punching straight through to reinforce the Council's flagship." As the human fleet engaged, their unorthodox tactics immediately caught the Void Swarm off guard. Earth's ships were smaller, more maneuverable, and packed with experimental weaponry. Swarms of nimble fighters darted between the lumbering alien capital ships, drawing fire and creating openings. On the bridge of the Galactic Council's flagship, Zixnera watched in awe as the human fleet tore into the Void Swarm's formation. "By the celestial spheres," she whispered, "they fight like nothing I've ever seen." The battle raged for hours. Human ingenuity and adaptability began to turn the tide, but the Void Swarm's numbers seemed endless. Just as exhaustion began to set in, a chilling realization struck Chen. The swarm wasn't trying to destroy the planet. They were attempting to board it. "All ships, this is Admiral Chen." She broadcast on an open channel. "The swarm is going for a ground invasion. We need to buy time for an evacuation." As the desperate struggle continued in space, the first void tendrils breached the planet's surface. The true test of humanity's resolve was about to begin. Part 2. Human Ingenuity Unleashed. The surface of Axis Prime, jewel of the Galactic Council, was in chaos. Void swarm tendrils erupted from the ground, twisting skyscrapers and shattering roads. Panicked civilians of a dozen different species flooded through the streets as the planet's defenders struggled to mount a resistance. Into this maelstrom of terror dropped the first wave of human troops. Clad in powered armor that looked crude compared to the sleek designs of other races, they hit the ground running. At their head strode Major Sarah Donovan, her helmet retracting to reveal a face set with determination. "All right, people," she shouted over the din of battle. "We've got cities to evacuate and a planet to save. Let's show these cosmic fuckers what humanity's made of." The human soldiers moved with a coordination that belied their recent arrival on the galactic stage. They rapidly established defensive perimeters, their weapons blazing with an eclectic mix of traditional ballistics and energy weapons. In orbit, Admiral Chen's fleet continued its desperate holding action. The bridge of the Defiant shuddered as another tendril glanced off their shields. "Status report," Chen barked. Her XO, Commander Rajesh Patel, responded grimly. "Shields at 40%, Admiral. We've lost the Intrepid and the Dauntless, but we've opened a corridor for the evacuation ships." Chen nodded, her mind racing. "We need something to tip the scales. Get me a direct line to Major Donovan on the surface." On the ground, Donovan was in the thick of the action. Her powered armor's strength amplification allowed her to physically grapple with smaller void tendrils, buying time for her troops to blast them apart with concentrated fire. "Major," Chen's voice crackled through her comms. "We've identified what looks like a central node for the swarm's planetary assault. Coordinates incoming. If we can take it out, we might be able to disrupt their entire attack." Donovan's lips curled into a predatory grin. "Roger that, Admiral. We're on it." As Donovan rallied her forces for the push, she found an unlikely ally. Zixnera, the Galactic Council ambassador, approached with a small contingent of alien troops. "Major Donovan," Zixnera said, her voice filled with a mix of awe and determination. "Your people fight with a ferocity I've never witnessed. Allow us to join you in this assault." Donovan nodded, appreciating the gesture. "Glad to have you, Ambassador. Hope you can keep up." The combined human and alien force fought their way through the chaos-filled streets. Donovan's troops showcased their adaptability, quickly learning to coordinate with their new allies. Urdnot warriors' raw strength complemented the precision of human snipers. Avian Kirik scouts provided aerial reconnaissance, guiding the ground forces through the safest routes. As they neared the coordinates of the swarm's central node, resistance intensified. Void tendrils coalesced into grotesque, vaguely humanoid shapes, avatars of the swarm's will. "Form up," Donovan shouted. "Concentrate fire on those big bastards." The battle that ensued was nothing short of epic. Human ingenuity clashed with the Void Swarm's otherworldly power. Donovan's powered armor allowed her to go toe-to-toe with the avatars, her enhanced strength and experimental weaponry proving a match for their ethereal forms. Zixnera fought alongside her, her natural agility and energy manipulating abilities providing crucial support. Together, they pushed towards the heart of the swarm's assault. In orbit, Chen watched the battle unfold through tactical feeds. "They're almost there," she muttered. "We just need to buy them a little more time." She made a snap decision. "All ships, this is Admiral Chen. Concentrate all fire on these coordinates. We're going to punch a hole straight through their fleet." The human fleet's formation tightened, their remaining ships forming a spearhead. They charged directly at the heart of the Void Swarm armada, weapons blazing. The maneuver was reckless, bordering on suicidal, but it worked. The swarm's attention was divided, giving Donovan's ground team the opening they needed. On the surface, Donovan and Zixnera finally reached the central node. It pulsed with dark energy, tendrils spiraling out in all directions. "Any ideas how to shut this thing down?" Donovan asked, her armor sensors struggling to make sense of the alien technology. Zixnera's antenna twitched as she analyzed the node. It's drawing power from the planet's core. If we could reverse the flow somehow. Donovan's mind raced. She remembered a theoretical weapon design she'd seen back on Earth. A gravity bomb meant to create localized singularities. It was untested, deemed too dangerous for practical use. But desperate times called for desperate measures. "I've got an idea," Donovan said. "But it's going to be one hell of a light show. Everyone, clear the area." As the Allied forces fell back, Donovan input a series of commands into her armor systems. With a prayer to whatever cosmic forces might be listening, she activated the gravity bomb and hurled it directly into the heart of the node. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, reality itself seemed to twist. The node imploded, dark energy collapsing in on itself. A shockwave of gravitational force rippled outward, shredding nearby void constructs and sending their troops tumbling. In orbit, the effect was even more dramatic. The void swarm fleet, suddenly cut off from its power source, began to disintegrate. Chen watched in amazement as the tide of battle shifted in an instant. "All ships, press the advantage," she ordered. "Don't let up." As the combined forces of humanity and the Galactic Council drove back the swarm, a new chapter in galactic history was being written. Humanity had proven itself not just as fighters, but as innovators capable of turning the tide against an seemingly unstoppable foe. The battle for Axis Prime was far from over, but for the first time since the Void Swarm's appearance, hope blossomed across the galaxy. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and they were here to stay. Alliance forged in fire. In the aftermath of the battle for Axis Prime, the Galactic Council found itself in an unprecedented situation. The planet had been saved, but at a great cost. Large swathes of the capital lay in ruins, and the scars left by the Void Swarm's assault would take years to heal. Yet amidst the destruction, a new sense of unity had emerged. Species that had long viewed each other with suspicion now worked side by side in the recovery efforts. And at the center of it all stood humanity, the newcomers whose arrival had changed everything. In a hastily convened emergency session of the Galactic Council, Ambassador Zixnera stood before her peers, her scales still bearing the marks of battle. "Esteemed colleagues," she began, her voice carrying across the makeshift chamber. "We stand at a crossroads. The Void Swarm has been repelled, but not defeated. They will return, and when they do, we must be ready." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the assembly. Zixnera continued, her gaze sweeping the room. "We owe our survival to the bravery and ingenuity of our new allies, humanity. I propose that we extend to them full membership in the Galactic Council, with all the rights and responsibilities that entails." The chamber erupted in a mix of excited chatter and concerned whispers. Kryzak, the Urdnot ambassador, rose to speak. "The humans fought well, I'll grant them that," he rumbled. "But they are untested in galactic politics. How can we be sure they're ready for such responsibility?" Before Zixnera could respond, a new voice cut through the din. Admiral Elena Chen strode into the chamber, her uniform still bearing the grime of battle. "With respect, Ambassador Kryzak," Chen said, her voice calm but firm, "humanity has been tested by facing an enemy that threatened to overwhelm your combined forces. We didn't come here seeking power or influence. We came because it was the right thing to do." She paused, letting her words sink in. "We don't claim to understand all the intricacies of galactic politics, but we do understand the importance of standing together in the face of a common threat. If you'll have us, we're ready to commit fully to this alliance." A hush fell over the chamber as the assembled representatives considered Chen's words. Finally, a wizened Kirik elder spoke up. "The Admiral speaks wisely," he croaked. "We cannot afford to cling to old prejudices in these dire times. I second the motion to grant humanity full membership." One by one, other representatives voiced their agreement. Even Kryzak, after a moment's hesitation, nodded his assent. Zixnera's antenna quivered with emotion as she called for a formal vote. The result was unanimous. Humanity would join the Galactic Council as full members. As the session adjourned, Chen found herself surrounded by a throng of alien diplomats, all eager to speak with her. She caught Zixnera's eye across the room, and the two shared a moment of understanding. This was only the beginning. In the days that followed, a flurry of activity swept across both Axis Prime and Earth. Information and technology were exchanged at an unprecedented rate. Human scientists marveled at the advanced propulsion systems of their new allies, while alien engineers pored over the innovative designs of Earth's weapons and defenses. On the Defiant, now in dry dock for repairs, Chen met with her senior staff to discuss their new role. "It's official," she announced. "We're to be the vanguard of humanity's contribution to the Galactic Defense Force. Our mission is twofold: continue to push back against the Void Swarm and help integrate our forces with those of our new allies." Commander Patel raised a hand. "Admiral, how are we supposed to coordinate with species we barely understand? Some of them communicate in ways we can't even perceive." Chen smiled. "That's where our adaptability comes in, Commander. We'll learn, we'll improvise, and we'll overcome. It's what humans do best." Meanwhile, on Earth, the news of humanity's newfound place in the galactic community was met with a mix of excitement and trepidation. Governments scrambled to establish new protocols for interstellar diplomacy, while civilians grappled with the reality of alien life. In a historic address, the Secretary-General of the United Nations spoke to a global audience. "People of Earth," she began, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment, "we stand on the threshold of a new era. The stars, once distant and unreachable, are now within our grasp. But with this great opportunity comes great responsibility." She paused, letting the gravity of the situation sink in. "We have been called upon to stand against a threat that imperils not just our world, but countless others. It will not be easy. It will demand sacrifices from all of us. But I have faith in humanity's capacity for compassion, for innovation, and for courage in the face of adversity." As the speech concluded, a wave of determination swept across the planet. Factories retooled to produce components for starships. Universities established new departments dedicated to xenobiology and astropolitics. A new sense of global unity emerged, born from the shared purpose of defending not just Earth, but the galaxy itself. Back on Axis Prime, Major Sarah Donovan found herself in a unique position. Her actions during the battle had made her something of a hero among both humans and aliens. Now she was tasked with training a truly interspecies fighting force. "All right, listen up," she barked, addressing a motley crew of human and alien recruits. "I don't care if you've got 2 legs, 4 legs, or no legs at all. I don't care if you breathe oxygen, methane, or cosmic radiation. What I care about is whether you're ready to stand together against the Void Swarm." As she put her troops through their paces, Donovan marveled at how quickly they were adapting to each other. Urdnot warriors learned to temper their aggression with human tactical precision. Kirik scouts shared their advanced sensory techniques with eager human special forces. Even the ethereal Joax, beings of pure energy, found ways to synchronize their abilities with the more conventional weapons of their solid allies. "Major Donovan," a familiar voice called out. Zixnera approached, accompanied by a delegation of Galactic Council observers. Donovan snapped to attention. "Ambassador, what can we do for you?" Zixnera's scales shimmered with what Donovan had come to recognize as excitement. "We've received intelligence on Void Swarm activity in the Centauri sector. The Council believes this could be our chance to strike back." Donovan's eyes narrowed. "What's the catch?" "The catch, Major," Zixnera replied, "is that we'll be venturing into uncharted space. This mission will test the full capabilities of our new alliance." A predatory grin spread across Donovan's face. "Well then, Ambassador, I'd say it's time to show the galaxy what we can really do." As preparations for the Centauri mission ramped up, The newly forged alliance faced its first true test. Coordinating a multi-species fleet, integrating wildly different technologies, and overcoming centuries of ingrained prejudices proved to be monumental challenges. Yet, step by step, progress was made. Human adaptability complemented alien expertise. Where conflicts arose, innovative solutions were found. A new kind of unity was emerging, born in the fires of shared adversity. As the combined fleet prepared to depart, Admiral Chen addressed the assembled forces. Her words were translated in real time into dozens of alien languages. "Today, we embark on more than a military campaign," she declared. "We carry with us the hopes of countless worlds. Let our diversity be our strength. Let our shared purpose be our guide. Together, we will show the Void Swarm that the light of cooperation burns brighter than any darkness they can muster." With a thunderous cheer that transcended species, the fleet launched into the unknown. The next phase of the war against the Void Swarm had begun. Part 4. The Tide Turns. The Centauri sector was a maelstrom of cosmic energy and twisted spacetime. Here, at the edge of known space, the Void Swarm had established a foothold that threatened to become a launchpad for further incursions into the heart of the galaxy. Admiral Chen stood on the bridge of the Defiant, her eyes fixed on the swirling chaos visible through the viewscreen. Around her, a mix of human and alien crew worked in harmony, their movements choreographed by months of joint training and shared purpose. "Status report," Chen commanded. Commander Patel, now fully comfortable working alongside his alien counterparts, responded crisply. "Void Swarm activity detected on the third planet of the system, Admiral. It appears to be some kind of processing center." Chen nodded, her mind already formulating strategies. "Very well. Prepare for planetary assault. And get me Major Donovan." On the surface of Centauri II, a hellscape of roiling energy and half-formed matter, Major Donovan led the vanguard of the assault force. Her powered armor, now augmented with alien technology, allowed her to navigate the treacherous terrain with ease. "Command, this is Donovan," she reported. "We're seeing heavy swarm activity. They're harvesting something from the planet's core." Chen's voice crackled through the comm. "Understood, Major. Your primary objective is to disrupt that harvesting operation. Secondary objective is to gather any intel you can on their plans." "Roger that," Donovan replied. She turned to her mixed squad of human and alien troops. "You heard the Admiral. Let's crash this party." The battle that ensued was like nothing any of them had experienced before. Void constructs rose from the ground, taking on nightmarish forms that defied conventional physics. But the Allied forces were ready. Urdnot warriors charged headlong into the fray, their natural resilience allowing them to shrug off attacks that would have vaporized others. Kirik snipers perched on floating debris, their enhanced senses allowing them to target the swarm's weak points with unerring accuracy. And at the heart of it all were the humans, their tactical flexibility and sheer determination driving the assault forward. Donovan herself was a whirlwind of destruction, her armor systems seamlessly interfacing with alien tech to devastating effect. In orbit, the space battle raged with equal intensity. The Void Swarm had amassed a formidable fleet, but they found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. Human cunning combined with alien firepower in ways the swarm couldn't predict. Admiral Chen orchestrated the battle like a grand symphony. She utilized the unique strengths of each species in her fleet, creating a harmonious whole that was far greater than the sum of its parts. "Joax cruisers, execute pattern Omega," she ordered. "Human destroyers, follow up with barrage fire. Kirik interceptors, you're our eyes and ears. Keep those lanes clear." As the battle progressed, something unprecedented began to happen. The Void Swarm, for the first time since its emergence, began to retreat. On the planet's surface, Donovan and her team fought their way to the heart of the swarm's operation. What they found there would change the course of the war. "Admiral," Donovan reported, her voice filled with a mix of awe and revulsion. "We've located the harvesting center. It's not just energy they're after. They're consuming the very fabric of space-time itself. Chen's blood ran cold. For what purpose? Unknown, Donovan replied. But we've recovered data crystals from their central node. With any luck, it'll give us some answers. As the Allied forces secured their victory in the Centauri sector, a sense of cautious optimism began to spread. For the first time, they had struck a significant blow against the Void Swarm. The tide of war was beginning to turn. But as Chen looked out at the stars, she knew that the true test still lay ahead. The Void Swarm had been pushed back, but not defeated, and the secrets contained in those data crystals could hold the key to either salvation or annihilation. With renewed determination, she set a course back to Axis Prime. It was time to plan the next phase of this galactic conflict, and this time they would be the ones taking the fight to the enemy. Victory and new horizons. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council hummed with anticipation. Representatives from every allied species crowded around a holographic display, watching as the final battle against the Void Swarm unfolded. Admiral Chen stood at the center, her uniform adorned with medals from a dozen different worlds. Beside her, Ambassador Zixnera's scales shimmered with nervous energy. The Joint Fleet has engaged the swarm's main force, Chen reported, her voice steady despite the stakes. Major Donovan's strike team is en route to the control node. The data recovered from the Centauri sector had proven invaluable. It revealed the true nature of the Void Swarm, not a mere force of destruction, but a desperate bid for survival by a dying universe. The swarm consumed reality itself in an attempt to stave off the heat death of their own cosmos. Armed with this knowledge, the Allied forces had formulated a daring plan. They would use the swarm's own technology against them, creating a bridge between universes that would allow the swarm to survive without consuming other realities. On the front lines, Major Donovan led a diverse team of elite operatives towards the heart of the Void Swarm's dimension-spanning construct. Human ingenuity, Erdnot's strength, Kirik precision, and Joek's energy manipulation, all working in perfect harmony. "We're approaching the node," Donovan reported. "Resistance is heavy, but we're pushing through." The battle raged across multiple planes of existence. In normal space, the Allied fleet engaged the swarm's forces, drawing their attention away from Donovan's team. In the twisted reality of the void, energy beings like the Joaks dueled with the swarm's avatars. Hours passed, each moment filled with tension. The council chamber was silent save for the occasional update from the battlefield. Then suddenly, Donovan's voice crackled through the comm. "We've reached the node, implementing the bridge protocol now." For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, reality itself seemed to shudder. The holographic display flickered, showing a massive tear in the fabric of space-time. "It's working," Chen exclaimed. "The swarm is being drawn through the bridge." As they watched, the Void Swarm's forces began to dissipate, pulled inexorably towards the rift. In their place, strange new forms of energy began to coalesce, the first manifestations of a universe reborn. The chamber erupted in cheers as the last of the swarm vanished through the portal. The war that had threatened to consume the galaxy was over. In the aftermath of victory, a new era dawned for the Galactic Council and its allies. The bonds forged in battle proved lasting, creating a foundation for unprecedented cooperation and growth. Humanity, once newcomers to the galactic stage, now stood as respected leaders. Their adaptability and innovative spirit had proven crucial in overcoming seemingly insurmountable odds. As the dust settled, Admiral Chen found herself back on Earth, addressing a global audience. "Today, we celebrate not just the end of a war, but the beginning of a new chapter in our history," she declared. "We have seen the true face of our universe, vast, terrifying, and beautiful beyond imagining, and we have proven that together, there is no challenge we cannot overcome." She paused, her gaze sweeping across the sea of faces before her. "The stars are no longer a distant dream. They are our new frontier, filled with wonders and possibilities we have only begun to explore." And we will face whatever comes next the same way we face the Void Swarm, united, determined, and unafraid. As Chen's words echoed across the planet, a sense of limitless potential filled the air. Humanity had not just survived its trial by fire. It had emerged stronger, wiser, and ready to take its place among the stars. In the depths of space, the rift created by the Bridge Protocol continued to shimmer. It stood as a testament to the power of cooperation and the indomitable spirit of life itself. And beyond it, a new universe stirred to life, its future inexorably tied to the one that had given it birth. The war was over, but the greatest adventure was just beginning. Humanity and all its allies stood ready to meet it head-on.